Hello, my name is Lien from the WI Cookery School, and today I'm going to show you how to joint a chicken. I've got a chicken here, and it's very important when you use chicken or other poultry that you don't wash it. If you wash it, you tend to splash bacteria around your sink and other kitchen areas, so it's much safer not to wash the chicken. First thing I'm going to do when I joint a chicken is find the chicken oysters. And not many people know about them, but they're actually the most tasty part of a chicken. They're actually located on the underside of the bird, and they're two small mounds that sit in an indentation in the carcass just here. So to remove them, I'm just going to make a cut into the back of the chicken there, just using a small knife, and I'm going to dig out the chicken oysters with the tip of the blade, just like that. And then, as I said, they live in a little indentation, so you can just dig in with the knife and then pull them out of the little dip in the carcass, and then do the other side, like that. So once they're out of the carcass, we can turn our attention to removing the legs from the bird. So to do that, turn the chicken back over, and we're going to remove this side first. So firstly, there's a piece of skin there that attaches the leg to the main part of the chicken. We're going to use a large knife here just to cut through that skin. We're not cutting through any meat at this point, all the way down there, and that allows us to pull the chicken leg out at 90 degrees to the bird. So to remove the leg, we need to locate the joint where it's attached to the carcass, and it's actually a ball and socket joint. So the only way of removing that is actually to dislocate the joint. You can't cut through it with a knife. So to do that, you take two fingers and then place it underneath the joint itself, and then your thumb on the drumstick where the drumstick meets the thigh, and then press down with your thumb and up with your fingers, and you should hear a nice popping sound, which is the sound of the joint dislocated. There we go. So that's now out of the joint, and so I'm going to make a cut here just to link up to the oyster which we removed earlier, and then take that whole leg with the oyster off the bird, like so. So now I've removed the leg. It's actually in three sections. This part here is not really good for anything. You could put it into a stock pot, but what we're going to do is just remove it by cutting through the point where the two bones meet. It's actually a hinge joint, so you shouldn't really have any resistance if you get your knife in the right place. So we'll get rid of that. And then we're left with our chicken leg there. You could cook that as it is, or you could separate it. So to do that, look for the fat line there. You can see it just running down there. That's your guide. And then take your knife and place it on the fat line, and then your knife, if you wiggle it around, should fall in a gap just between the two bones of the drumstick and the thigh. When you've done that, just cut down, and it should easily cut through the chicken. If it doesn't, your knife is in the wrong place and you just need to move it to another area. Now cut through, and then there you've got your thigh and your drumstick. And now I'll go on to do the other side exactly the same way. Now I've removed the second leg, I'm going to now take off the wings. Now the wings are actually formed of three parts. There's this end part here, again there's no real meat on that, so I'm going to take that off. Then I've got a middle section, so I'll remove that. But I'm going to leave the last section attached to the breast meat when it comes off into what's called a supreme or a supreme. So to firstly take the first section off, this is again a hinge joint, so I'm just going to make a light cut through to the bones and then snap it towards myself. And then once you've done that, you can place the knife on it and easily cut through. So I'm going to get rid of that. Now my next piece, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. A light cut just to the joint, and then snap it back towards me, and then locate the two ends of the bones onto the board, and then cut through. So that's one part. I'll do the other side exactly the same way. I've now removed these 2 wing pieces. These are absolutely delicious, perfect for barbecues. I like to collect these and freeze them, and then I can cook lots off at the same time. And then I'm left with the breast meat still attached to the bird, with the wings still attached to the breast. So to remove this, I need to just trim away some of the fat and skin from the top end of the breast, and then I'm left with the crown here. And then to remove the breast, I need to locate the line down the middle, and I'm going to draw my knife from the tip there down to the bottom along the white line, being very careful that I don't use too much pressure and that I don't cut through the very thin bone underneath. So just a one long cut down the length like that, and if it hasn't gone through far enough, just do another one. There we go. And then you can use your fingers just to separate the meat away from the central bone there, all the way down. You may meet the wishbone at the bottom there, and then to peel it away, just cut from the top, and what you want to do is angle your knife roughly at the same angle as the breast meat and the breastbone is underneath, and then make long sort of swooshing cuts all the way down, pressing the knife against the bone to get the maximum amount of meat off, and then down to the joint where that small wing meets the carcass, and then once you've located that, cut through that joint, and then your supreme will come off in one piece with the wing still attached, like so. Put that to the side, and I'll do the other half exactly the same way. Now I've got both sides of the breast meat off, I'm going to be left with the carcass, and I can use this to make a really nicely flavoured stock. It's always good to save up a few of these. It makes it more economical if you use several to make a stock rather than just one. But you just need to prepare it before you use it. That means removing any excess skin and fat. If you add those and leave them on, it will make your stock cloudy, so it's always best to get rid of as much of that as you can. And trim off the parson's nose as well. That's quite fatty. And then just look on the underside, if there's anything else you can trim, you can. But that should leave you with a carcass. You could separate that into 2 if you wanted to, and that's ready either to go into the pot or to freeze. So for more knife skills, tips and videos, visit the WI website, or have a look at the WI Cookery School website for knife skills courses.